The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
A new report from ESPN shed some light on the latest with Sauce and Garrett's contract talks with the Jets, plus some other interesting news and notes that we will get into. It's the Jake Asman Show. It's a Monday, new week. Let's hit it and get it started.
Man, our Jets are primed to win another offseason, baby. We bleed Jets green each and every day. Will the playoff drought finally end? Kings of the offseason, baby. This is what we do. At least we have Garrett Wilson. We have Brees Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinn Williams. Prepare to be underdogs. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show.
Here we go, here on a Monday. Reminder, if you're not a Patreon subscriber, get on there, join the Discord, be a part of the conversation, find out about exclusive events, discounts at said events, 20% off all merch items in my merch store, bonus shows, your name in the countdown ticker, and a whole lot more. Thanks to all the Patreon subscribers, including Corrine, Harold, Anthony, Pork, and Jess, our most recent Patreon subscribers. Let's talk about the latest with the New York Jets, and then I will share a daily raffle prize I have coming up for anyone who is tuned into the show live right now. The latest inside Rich Cimini's weekly news and notes column, I think, shed some light on the impact that Aaron Glenn has had on the team. Plus, as you see in the title, some new information about both Sauce and Garrett, which I will get into. But let's start with what Rich wrote about Aaron Glenn. Quote, like all coaches, Glenn will be judged on wins and losses in the fall, but it's not a stretch to say he won the offseason. The first-year coach captured the attention of the players. 91% attendance rate for voluntary workouts per Glenn, raising the intensity level on and off the field. From a messaging standpoint, Glenn sounds a lot like his mentor, Bill Parcells. He explains the why and how to players, how they want to operate as a team, and he's big into team-building philosophy. He stresses situational football and physical play, noting there will be more live tackling in training camp than before. Glenn also is a believer in one-on-one conversations, as several players mentioned they've had private time with the coach. That's something he learned from Parcells. Before you could push a player's buttons, you must know what makes them tick. This all sounds great, and I'm glad Rich notes this. Glenn ultimately is judged on wins and losses in the fall. You definitely feel the Parcells influence when you hear Aaron Glenn at the podium, when you listen to some of the things his players have said about him. The difference with Parcells and Glenn, when Parcells took over the Jets, he was already the great Hall of Fame head coach Bill Parcells. Aaron Glenn's never been a coach before. So the Parcells influence is something that we hope helps Aaron Glenn, but we also have to hope that the influence of some of the other significant coaches Glenn has been around also pays off and helps this team finally get back on track. But this is all positive, right? People accuse Cimini at times being negative. Here's a guy telling you that it's not a stretch to say Glenn won the offseason. So we used to joke, the Jets, they always win the offseason. And this year it felt different because of the lack of big splashes and notable free agents or trades the Jets have made. But I mean, Aaron Glenn, I think, has passed with flying colors his initial offseason on the job with the team. Some other notes here from Rich's story. Let's talk about some minicamp and OTA observations from Rich. Quote, it's easy to see why the Jets fell in love with quarterback Justin Fields in free agency. The raw talent is there, but he needs to be more consistent on a series-to-series basis. Josh Reynolds is the clear-cut favorite for the wide receiver 2 job ahead of Allen Lazard, whose name will continue to circulate in trade rumors now that Aaron Rodgers has landed with the Steelers. If the Jets decide to move Lazard, a big if, it probably wouldn't be until the end of the preseason, but only if they are comfortable with their receiver depth. I think this is notable here, right? because Rich is at all the OTAs and the mini camps that are open for the media to consume. And if he's saying it is clear that Josh Reynolds is the wide receiver too, I think that does certainly open the door for a Lazard trade. I have said for a while, I'm still not buying that Lazard is on this team. All they have said about Lazard is that he's a good blocker. No one has said that, oh, he's making all these great plays and he's beating defenders left and right. That's not him. We've already seen what it looks like when Aaron Rodgers is not his quarterback. I don't need to see it again. And look, Fields is better than Zach Wilson or Tim Boyle or Trevor Siemian, but I'm good on Allen Lazard. You know, we talk about culture and you have to cleanse the organization of the Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas, Aaron Rodgers era. Then why is Lazard still on this team? He's not worth it. I don't care if he took a pay cut. I don't think he's good. I'd rather give the playing time to a rookie than Allen Lazard. You can't tell me that there's not someone they could add in that's younger that wouldn't be it wouldn't be more beneficial to have out there. So if I can get something for Lazard, I'll trade him. I do agree with Rich. I suppose at this stage, right, if they're not going to trade Lazard now, it would be towards the end of the preseason, assuming there's no further injuries and assuming that Allen Lazard has interest from Pittsburgh or maybe a team we're not thinking of. I think if they trade Lazard, they must feel decent about either Malachi Corley, which, let's be real, feels a little unlikely right now, and then Arian Smith, who they drafted, of course, in the 4th round, which we all know was a controversial pick. The other takeaway here that is interesting is, once again, another reporter talking about this battle at center between Joe Tippmann and Josh Myers. I don't believe Josh Myers has any shot to be the center. I'm not buying it. The only scenario where I believe Josh Myers is the Jets' week 1 center is if Joe Tippmann is not healthy or there's an injury to one of the Jets' guards, either Simpson or Vera Tucker, and the Jets look at it from the perspective of, if we want our best 5 linemen out there, let's put Josh Myers at center because he's been a center in the NFL and has started a lot of games there, and then let's put Joe Tippmann at guard because we've seen him play at guard as well in the NFL, and we think he can handle that responsibility, and we still get our best 5 out there. Right? If there's an injury at center, you want your quarterback to be comfortable with the backup center, because then if he's not, that leads to bad snaps, that leads to fumbles, it leads to a disaster. We all know what a bad center could do for an offense. We've seen it. We know what a great center could do for an offense as well, which is why, speaking of centers, in my hand right here is a signed Kevin Mawai Hall of Fame inscription jersey. If you gift a membership, you're entered to win the Kevin Mawai jersey at the end of this program. Daily raffle, baby. Thanks to all the diehards who are tuned in to a Jet show in June. If you're the first person to gift a membership, I'll double your raffle entries. And a reminder that for every entry you gift for the Kevin Mawai jersey, you're automatically entered in this week's major raffle, our weekly raffle prize. Raffle, Joe Namath signed football, Darrelle Revis signed football, and a Wayne Corbett signed jersey. So gift away to be eligible. But once again, I am not buying for a second that we truly have a legitimate center competition here. I don't see it. Now, the other takeaway here in Rich's story that I want to pull up from specifically minicamp is this. Thanks to StreamYard for glitching and making this a lot harder than it should be. Quote, depth should be a concern on all 3 levels of the defense, especially at edge rusher. There's a big drop-off after Will McDonald, Jermaine Johnson, and Michael Clemens. I mean, really? How are we mentioning Michael Clemens here? Rich writing at the end there, get ready to see a lot of blitzing. Stop it. Stop it. Michael Clemens should not be on the team. I need to find out who his agent is. That it seems like no one on the Jets beat is willing to talk about how bad he was last year. He was unplayable. He cost them games with his stupidity. Teams would go at him. They would hunt him out. You don't see that on defense very often. You see that in basketball. They would hunt out the Clemens matchup. They'd run right at him. He's not good. I'm tired of Michael Clemens. He's not a smart player. He's not disciplined. How many stupid penalties is this guy going to commit? Oh, but Aaron Glenn will fix him. Aaron Glenn can't fix stupid. I'm sorry. I do agree with Rich, though. He's right. The depth is a concern. While there's talent on this team, there are some depth issues if there's injuries. They're a defensive end short right now. Because right now, you know who's starting at defensive end on opening day? It could be Michael Clemens if Jermaine Johnson's on a pitch count. I mean, Jermaine's going to play, but he's probably starting the year on the PUP list. Aaron Glenn said that himself the other day. And while Jermaine, I think eventually he's going to be the old Jermaine Johnson, the guy that we saw turning himself into a Pro Bowl player before our eyes in 2023, that's not a lock. It might take him a full year. I think it'll be pretty good by the end of the year. I think it'll be pretty good by the bye. I just have a lot of faith in Jermaine. But they're a defensive end short still. And there's guys out there I like. Most notably Jadeveon Clowney, who I said from the beginning I felt the Jets should have signed last season. And then they pivoted and went with the Hassan Reddick trade, and that's one of the worst moves in recent Jets history, which is saying something. Clowney's out there. You have the fourth most amount of cap space in the league. The Jets, in the story that Rich wrote, they're the team in the NFL that has the least cash spent on their team this year. And once again, for those who don't understand the salary cap, there's a difference in cash spent and what your cap number is, right? Like a dead cap hit does not actually mean that the Jets are paying that player to not be here. For instance, Aaron Rodgers was owed, or Aaron Rodgers counts $35 million in dead cap. That's not, oh, they're paying $35 million to Rodgers to not be here. So there's a difference in cash flow, cash payments, and then dead cap money and total salary cap money. And I bring that up because the Jets have money to spend. They have, once again, the fourth largest amount of cap space at $38 million, according to roster management system, and lowest cash payroll in the league at $228 million. So there's money there to add some players to this team. We're spending a lot of time on wide receiver too. Given the offense the Jets run, I doubt they sign another receiver. Right? They're comfortable with Garrett, then Reynolds, tight end getting a lot of receptions, Brees getting targets. We're going to run the hell out of the ball. Fine. Defensive end, there's no excuse for Michael Clemens to line up and play significant snaps right now. And I'm not feeling great about any of the guys that were on the team last year that were young players that we were hoping maybe could take a step. I didn't hear a whole lot about Leonard Taylor this spring, did you? I didn't hear a whole lot about McGregor this spring, did you? I didn't hear a whole lot about Watts this spring. I mean, these guys made the team last year, and it was a cool story. But Eric Watts is not the answer. Brady McGregor is not the answer. I seriously doubt Leonard Taylor's the answer. I mean, maybe things change once the pads go on, but really? These guys were on the team last year because Joe Douglas dismantled the defensive line right before our eyes. It wasn't because they were great. How rare is it to have 3 UDFAs make your final 53? It doesn't happen because if you're a good team, you don't have a lot of UDFAs. You might have 1, 2, not 3. So even talking about Clemens just gets me fired up here, and it's June 16th. All right, as far as Sauce Gardner and Garrett Wilson goes, this was notable, I believe, from Rich, who has been doing a really good job keeping tabs on the negotiations with the Jets on Sauce and Garrett. Here's the little blurb in the story on ESPN.com. Quote, Jets are in prime position for big money contract extensions. Sauce Gardner, wide receiver Garrett Wilson. They have the lowest cash payroll in the league. This is what I was just referencing. They have the 4th largest amount of cap space. It would be a surprise if they don't get at least one deal done by the start of the season. Now, what's interesting about Sauce's contract is that one of Sauce's representatives, right? Sauce referenced his team. He's repped by Vayner Sports. Now, Vayner Sports is an agency where AJ Vaynerchuk is the head of the sports agency. That's Gary Vaynerchuk's brother. Gary's obviously a friend of the show, diehard Jets fan. I wouldn't count on that meaning, well, the Jets are going to get Sauce on a hometown discount. That said, one of the people on Sauce's team is his big brother, Alante Gardner. And he's not a certified agent yet, but he's the vice president of Vayner Sports. So this is a true family type of negotiation with Sauce. And to this point, Sauce has done the right things, showing up, saying the right things. And I agree with Rich. I expect at least one of these deals to get done, but I think both are going to get done. I think the writing has been on the wall now for the last couple of weeks that it's trending towards both guys getting new deals. And it makes so much sense from a Jet standpoint to do both of these deals at the same time and have the goodwill and the good moment, the good PR right before training camp of both guys at the podium together, came into the league together, rookies of the year together, signing their new deals together. Optics-wise, that's great. And this fan base, I think, certainly would appreciate that. Because I think most people agree, logically, it makes sense to sign both guys. I think certainly Garrett makes more sense if you can only pick one. But let's not pretend like Sauce Gardner's not really good. It's very annoying. Was he as good as he was his first 2 years this past season? No. But who was on the defense? One guy, Jamie and Sherwood, out of nowhere. No one was great last year. I think it was the toxic environment. I think it was everything that happened with Woody and Saleh. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. And I believe Aaron Glenn, a former Pro Bowl defensive back, is going to have Sauce Gardner playing like an all-pro. So if you wait on Sauce, instead of beating Derek Stingley's contract by a penny, Sauce will reset the market a year from now and cost you even more. And that, to me, would be poor roster management. The Eagles get out in front of all these things. They're the model franchise to me when it comes to this. I think the Jets need to be proactive as well, and I think they will. If you missed it, this was Rap Sheet, Ian Rappaport, on the NFL Network the other day. This was him sharing the latest on what he has heard about both Sauce and Garrett Wilson's contracts.
Yeah, it certainly appears that when Sauce Gardner signs his new deal, and I really do expect the Jets to get this done at some point before the season, wouldn't be surprised if he's the highest paid corner, or at least right there with Derek Stingley. And this deal really shouldn't be that difficult to do. He is a great player, one of the faces of their franchise. Derek Stingley signed a 3-year, $90 million deal this offseason. If it gets there, I would imagine it gets done, maybe a little above that, just because he's the last. And I would also say this, because the Jets have several good young players, Garrett Wilson also in line for an extension. Wouldn't actually be surprised if the Jets do them similar timing. They're both faces of this organization. They came in the same draft class. They are friends. Like, it makes sense to do them the same time. So certainly something to look forward to for the Jets and Jets fans before this season.
I think it makes too much sense. I think Rap Sheet and I, another friend of the show, by the way, are aligned there. Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. If you're interested in a hotel room at a discounted rate for Tampa Bay, if you're making the trip for Jets Bucks, if you're interested in tickets for that game to sit with Asmaniacs, if you're interested in any of the events that we have planned, join that Patreon, patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Ladies and gentlemen, the first person that gifted memberships today is Mike Dems. And since he's number one, we are doubling his 5 raffle tickets. Mike, you are in the raffle at the end of the show for this signed Kevin Mawai jersey for 10, baby. Sing along.
We are mama way.
Here's who got the memberships from Mike: Mother Effin' Chew, Scott Inger, Connor Kelly, Louis Garcia, and JD. The great Rick Kent in the house. He is a part of our Asmaniac raffle. Rick gifting 5 channel memberships. Rick's 5 memberships went to Team Curry, You Beat Me, Freak Turd Zero, Mr. Downtown, and 99 Jet. And also a shout out to the Dominican Destroyer. He gifted a membership and renewed his own membership. He gifted himself. That is 2 raffle entries. Thank you, Dominican Destroyer. I got you down for 2. Aria Shaikin, who's been an Asmaniac for 1 full year.
You know, thinking is overrated.
He sends in this super chat that says, Vegas doesn't like to lose money. We talk about a top O-line always being successful, but see the 2015 Browns. I love the Jets, but 5-11, 6-10, very realistic. You're forgetting a game there, Aria. Remember, 17-game season. With that said, I mean, it wouldn't shock me if they won 5 or 6 games. Not at all. The Jets win total is at 5.5. What was the Vikings win total last year? Vegas doesn't like to lose money, but that doesn't mean they're always right. There's always a team or teams that surprises folks. Mike Tannenbaum said this stat on this show. 4 teams per year make the playoffs in the NFL that didn't the previous year. That's the average. Now, the Jets haven't been that team in 14 seasons, but they could. Comes down to Glenn and Fields. I hate to be redundant, but so much of it is that. Now, as far as the offensive line, I'm glad you brought this up because here is an interesting stat I saw from Jets X Factor. So the Jets have an over-under of 5.5 wins, but over the last 2 seasons, 19 of 20 teams who had a top 10 offensive line based on Pro Football Focus's rankings finished with at least 7 wins. The average record was 11-6. Meaning if the Jets offensive line fulfills its potential, they should win at least 7. Like the floor could be 7 in that scenario if you believe in the 5 guys they have out there. And obviously, you might believe in them, but can they stay healthy? Olu at the end of last year, he got hurt. AVT has had injury issues. That's just a reality here. I don't think Olu's injury prone yet, but he did suffer an injury at the end of his rookie year. You're starting Armand Membu. He wouldn't be the first offensive tackle that struggles as a rookie and then figures it out. Andrew Thomas stunk as a rookie. Now he's one of the best, when he plays, left tackles in the league for the Giants. So we'll see. I am confident in the O-line, though, at least it being above average. And if it's above average, I think you win more than 5 games because I think there's enough talent on the defensive side of the ball to be a top 10 unit, right? I think the Jets will force more turnovers this year. You got to win the turnover battle. Open phone lines for anyone who wants in on the conversation. We are presented today by House of Atlas. Become an Atlas man.
How to be an Atlas man. First, apply House of Atlas shave cream for a closer, more comfortable shave. Then, don't look at your cards and go all in. Confidence is an Atlas man's winning hand. Now, shave with your Atlas 5-blade razor. Greatness looks good on you. Welcome to Atlas.
Let's go, baby. 20% off site-wide and free shipping. Code Asman at checkout. Check it out. Gentlemen, if you need anything to help you shave, whether it be shaving cream, different razors, aftershave, I'm talking to you, Charles Gorman. Check it out, houseofatlas.com. Promo code Asman, 20% off site-wide and free shipping. Check it out. I've been using their products now for the last couple months. It has helped my beard game. It's helped me smell nice, feel nice. Check it out, House of Atlas. Shout out to them for sponsoring today's show. All right, open phone lines, comments, questions. Your super chats cut the line. Reminder for those just tuning in, giving away a signed Hall of Fame inscription Kevin Mawai jersey at the end of the show. To your calls, we go. First up on the Gusbuster hotline is Jason in Jerusalem. What's up, Jason?
Hey, Jake. Thanks for reaching out, by the way. Really
Absolutely,
meant a lot.
Man. I hope you're safe out there.
Yeah, no sirens here today, but the 4 a.m. wake-up call was kind of a piss-off.
Oof. Stay safe, man. We're thinking about you.
Trying. Thanks, guys. And thank you, everybody of the AsManiacs for reaching out. AVT or Jermaine Johnson, who gets re-upped first?
Ooh, great question. So AVT is playing on the 5th-year option, so he'll be a true free agent at the end of the year. Jermaine is under contract. I'm going to say AVT. I think he has a really good season. He's a big part of the offensive line, and I think they offer him a contract after this year.
You don't think you try to get Jermaine cheaper, being that he's coming off of injury? Or you think Jermaine says no for that reason?
Well, could we see what Jermaine looks like off of this season, right? Because I don't think he's going to be if you tell me Jermaine plays like he did in 2023, I'd say Jermaine because he plays a premium position. AVT is a guard. But since I'm not expecting Jermaine to be dominant right away, and AVT is closer to true free agency than Jermaine, who's under contract for another year, I think if I'm playing the odds, I'll bet on AVT having a good season and the Jets wanting to keep him as part of their core.
I hear that. Obviously, the issue with re-upping Jermaine is that he becomes a Carl Lawson.
Correct. But I think the difference with Lawson, it wasn't necessarily the Achilles that kind of ruined his career. Remember, he had the back injury. He came back the year after the Achilles. It wasn't bad. It was when he had the back injury, then he was no longer the same player.
All right. And has any Jet have the Jets come out and said why they decided to divide Rodgers' cap hit to 2 years yet?
They have not, and when Muji was asked about it, he never gave like a real answer on that. To me, I've never really understood that because how they've operated in free agency, I don't know why you wouldn't just want to take all of Rodgers' dead money this year and then clear the books a little easier for next year.
Right, especially because if you re-up these guys, if you sign Sauce and you sign Wilson, then it becomes a huge signing bonus, and the signing bonus gets divided up anyway. It's not like if you give him cash a $50 million signing bonus, that's divided up among the three, the length of the contract.
Correct.
And they did that with Mosley as well, or just with Rodgers?
Mosley was all just this year. There's nothing beyond this year to my knowledge. If it is, it's small. They didn't split it up. What they did with Mosley is they designated him just as a June
injury
first cut, an injury designation. Yeah, so I don't have Mosley stuff in front of me, but there was no. I don't think they saved money by splitting it up. If that makes sense, they just were able to clear that number for free agent purposes in March.
But if I thought you said they designated him as a June 1st.
They did, but when you designate someone, you could operate like that guy is not on your team by putting that designation on him.
Right, but what it does is it splits up the cap hit into 2 years.
Let's look at what CJ Mosley's exact contract is. It was not as significant as the Rodgers dead money. Let's see. Contract. Let's see what he counts for this year. Dead money. Oh, you know what? To your point. Yeah, to your point. If this is right, dead money, 8.7 this year, 7.6 next year. Let's see. That's what Over the Cap said, but I want to see when they released them if there was more info. Hold on one second. There won't be much cap relief for cutting him. That's because Jets own $4.25 million in guaranteed salary for 2025, designated as post June 1, which means his remaining cap hit 16.5. You're right. Spread out over 2 years. 8.8 million this year, 7.7 next year. Jets had to carry his current cap hit. Okay. Yep. I was confusing what his contract was. Yeah, basically, I mean, they saved some money, I guess, by splitting it out rather than just taking it on the chin this year.
And is the rollover 1-for-1 or no? I mean, it used to be the thing that you could roll over unused cap space to the next year. Was that dollar for dollar?
I think it's the number. Like, I don't know if it's cash. Are you talking about cash spending? You're talking about just what the salary cap
number cap
is?
Number. If you have 10 million in cap space that you don't touch, there's a way of rolling it over to the next year.
Correct. But there are certain rules with that. Like, you can only roll over a certain amount, a certain percentage of what the total cap is in the NFL.
Okay, so it's not like they could, if they save the money now, that they get dollar for dollar next year.
Some of it is. I think the Jets are compliant with whatever that number is. You always ask accounting questions, Jason, and I'm bad at math, so I hate these questions because I have to rely on experts to tell me what the actual stuff is.
I'm just wondering because I haven't read anything about it because to me it made no sense, and even what you were saying that it made no sense why they weren't doing it, why they didn't just take the hit this year because they're operating as if they don't have the money.
Well, the thing is they have plenty of money, so that's why I expect them to get a deal done long term with Sauce and Garrett.
Right, but that's also reshuffling. I mean, I would expect if they get signed to Clowney for like 1 year, 10 million or something like that.
They have the money to do that too, and the cap space. They have both.
Right, and at least with Line, I agree with you. Michael Clemens is just a liability on this team. Just somebody that, unless somehow they could teach him discipline, because I mean they were an undisciplined team last year, but Michael Clemens was the poster boy for what last year's Jets were.
Agreed.
Reckless and undisciplined.
There's nothing to me about his game that I'm like, yep, I need to see this for another year. I think it's crazy.
I think if you've seen those interviews that he gave when he first signed, I think somebody in the front office is just scared of telling him he's cut and what he'd do. Because those gave serious serial killer type vibes that he was giving those initial interviews with the media.
Look, if the Jets need some help doing it, I'd be happy to do it.
You get the fuck out.
All right? That's how that conversation should go. I think they look at their defensive ends, and Clemens is somehow one of their best ones, which says more about that room than anything else. And also, Glenn maybe fell in love with the traits of Clemens. Like, he's a physical specimen. He's just looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane. How's that for a Parcells quote, Aaron Glenn? You like that one? How you like dem apples? I mean, I'm good with Michael Clemens, man. See you later. Man with a Rake is gifted a membership. He's in our Kevin Mawai raffle at the end of the show. Thank you, Man with a Rake. All right, more of your calls right now. The Jordo Show, if you put your camera on, you would be next, but your camera is not on. So I have no choice but to go to the backup plan. And ladies and gentlemen, this backup plan is not just any backup plan. He's one of the all-time greats.
Good morning, Jake.
Hello, Kyle.
So, first of all, I'm nobody's backup plan.
No. You're the main event.
So, I think that these decisions are never made in a vacuum, right? Like, I think your point is, in extending it from Clemens over to Lazard, we've seen enough of these guys to last us a lifetime, right? Like, Lazard isn't going to wake up tomorrow and learn how to catch. Michael Clemens isn't going to learn how to hold the edge. It's time to give some other guys a chance that might be able to do that in a role for us. And if they can, and if we can gain cap space from it or whatever, all the better. When I say these decisions aren't made in a vacuum, I think that to some degree, the Sauce decision and the Garrett decision impact each other, although I think we can do both. Our need for Garrett is greater. At the end of the day, you mentioned that the Sauce negotiation is kind of a family affair with familiarity, and I quite frankly think that Sauce loves it here. And the fact that we have three other cornerbacks that depending on how they felt about Quantes, but they drafted AZ, they just got Stevens in the free agent market. That's kind of subtly impact the negotiation, right? Like, it's going to be hard for Sauce to gouge us, although I don't think he's in it to gouge us. I think he wants his fair worth. If we've got guys on the contract that we're confident. Likewise, with AVT, you've got Simpson on the other side of the line, who's a little bit older, a little bit less versatile, and wasn't drafted by the team. I would agree with you. I think AVT is probably the priority if he can stay healthy and plays well. I don't know why they wouldn't have taken a flyer on a developmental guard in the mid rounds this past year. Maybe they like next year's draft for guards better. But at some point, I feel like we're going to lose one of these guys, the Simpsons, the AVTs, like the JJs, the guys that are not the absolute top, the Breeses, the absolute top priorities. And what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, to me, AVT, if he has a good season, he has so much more of an upside than John Simpson, even though John Simpson was really good last year. So I think he would be the priority if they only could keep one. That said, Simpson's probably a lot cheaper than what AVT would cost if they're both healthy and have big seasons. So that's fascinating. What I would do, this is where the Jets need to be creative, and hopefully Muji's way more aggressive with this than Douglas was. If they're having good years, call up their agents in the middle of the year and try and get something done. The Eagles do that, and they get these guys at bargains because they're giving them the guarantee of a contract, and they're at ease that they don't have to worry about what if I get hurt and how much money is that going to cost me. Sure, there's a risk involved in that, but if you believe in Glenn's football acumen and he goes to Muji and says, this is my kind of player, I know this at week 8, let's get a deal done during the bye week, right? Like I think that is something that I hope this new regime is capable of doing. They don't need to just wait till guys hit free agency and then overpay to either keep them or let them go for nothing. Be proactive with signing good young players if you believe they fit your culture going forward.
Specifically with Simpson, that's the way to go because people have seen what he's done since he's been here, and it was a great value. and he's still relatively young. If you could get an additional 2 more years from him at a price, just to lock in that, if he wants to lock in the security and you want to not think about the position going forward, that's the thing to do. I appreciate your time, Jake.
Hey, Kyle, before you go, Will writes in, Clifton's a legend. I've been watching the show for 4 to 5 months more daily for the last month. He always gives great points.
I'm blushing here. You can't really tell because of the glare off the receded light in the back of me, but I appreciate it, man.
Love it. The great Kyle Clifton. And Will is right. Clifton, always a great caller. A daily caller that is on topic, which is a rarity. Hit the like button if you haven't. Appreciate all of you tuning in here on a Monday. Hennessy wrote in earlier. Can't wait to hear what Bang and Allen don't like today. So true. So true. Ladies and gentlemen, Frank P. He's been a machine winning daily raffles. He won 3 last week. I think he already won a signed Kevin Mawai jersey, but now at the end of the show, he's got a chance to win another. He's in the AsManiac raffle for 10.
Bobby and Charles are squeezing their knockers. Bobby and Charles are squeezing their knockers, taking their shirts off.
Taking their shirts off.
Taking their shirts off.
Taking their shirts off.
Bobby and Charles are damn sexy. Damn sexy. Let's party. Let's party. Let's party. Let's Bobby and Charles are hot and sweaty. Hot and sweaty. Let's party. Let's party. Let's party.
Oh, yeah. Some of you just started your Monday off with some Man Move Express. NY in Atlanta, Dub 74, Pocono Jet. Shout out to the Poconos. I was there 2 weeks ago. Eric Bianchi, Gary Theus, Matthew Gordon, Aaron Quinanis, Pork of the Morning, Joe M, and Tom D, all receiving channel memberships. Thank you very much, Frank. Always appreciate your contributions, especially when it's slow right now in June. Rick Kent writes in, a daily caller who actually has something to say, which is also a rarity. That is true. Black Gypsy writes in, what makes anyone think that Fields is going to get better throwing the ball? He can't read a defense. He's going to run and throw deep. The simple passes are hard for Fields. Well, to be fair, Black Gypsy, his completion percentage has improved each season he's been in the league, right? So he can get better throwing the ball. They also could scheme guys open to help him. That's something that the Jets feel internally has not been the case for any of Fields' previous coaches. Now, that doesn't mean the Jets are going to be able to do that, but it would show us a lot if they could. Fields can throw. He's got a cannon of an arm. At times, he doesn't process, but he can throw. I think there's 2 separate things here. He can make every throw. He's got a great arm, and he can be really accurate, and he has improved statistically. They got to make it easy for him, right? They got to have guys that get open quick. They got to have an offense that's designed around him, play action, the screen game, keep defenses off balance. There will be moments where he's going to have to just drop back and throw. And, hey, you've shown all your cards. It's mano to mano, go win the game. And, yeah, I mean, there's questions there, right? His fourth quarter completion percentage among starters since 2020, I think, is last in the league. But with better coaching, maybe it could be better. And with a defense that could be opportunistic and really a running game you're relying on, there's an avenue to be competent. But it's why I don't have the Jets winning 10 or 11 games, because I have doubts. But I think they could be a functional offense. But quarterbacks improve. I don't think we could say he can't improve his processing. You know, that's part of this. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Hey, Jordo, put the camera on, and you are up next, my friend, and we will go to you. Let's see. Jordo going once. Jordo going twice. Jordo. He wrote in the private chat that, thanks, man. I'm just in listen mode today. I've been listening for 6 months on the pod. Just joined the Patreon a few days ago, just checking into a live show. Okay, so you don't actually want to call into the show. You just wanted to sit in the green room. What are you, Bobby Midnight? What are you, Beast Breaker? What are you, Gary?
Would you silence, or should I do one of these?
Beast, you there? Beast? Beast. Beast. Where do we think Beast is right now? Beast. Nobody knows where he is. Now, I did save a couple comments from Beast that were said right before the show started. Comment 1. I'm a working man's man, hard at work and living good times. Comment number 2. Blow it out your ass, bang Mateo. Well said. Comment number 3. We're having a heat wave. Is it possible Beast is in his kiddie pool right now? And that's where he is. I don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls right now. Charleston Jetsrube joins us from his nudist colony in Charleston. Hello, Jetsrube. God, what is up with the phone calls today? Thank you, Charleston. Jay writes in, is Charles Eugene M. Gorman starting at BK today? I'm awaiting for the official update, but for those who saw the show on Saturday, we believe we have been able to get Gorman a job at BK. Have it your way. So we'll find out if Charles has truly secured it. Michael writes in, Beast has a job. Rick Kent. What work does Beast do? He does a lot of work in all the different departments, you know. He's doing his thing. Eli says, will we be checking in with Charles after his first day of work? I'm hoping that we get an update on the second show, if not this one. Now, Eli, I want you to know that today I intend to head to the post office and send you your signed Garrett Wilson photo. I also will be sending one lucky AsManiac here a signed and authenticated Kevin Mawai Hall of Fame inscription jersey. We'll give that away at the end of the show for anyone who's in that raffle. You'll have a chance to win. Open phone lines for anyone who wants in on the conversation here. Tom Ace writes in, Charles has to meet with his team, a.k.a. the 34th team. Yes, Mike Tannenbaum has transferred the job hunting pursuit to the 34th team, which is led by Coach Nick Shine. Robert C's watching the show. He's a beast breaker. Hey, Robert, you got to call back in. People are asking for more Robert C. Peter Castro writes in, Justin Fields will be the best quarterback we've had in 10 years. Relax and enjoy. Peter's new thing is just to tell everyone to relax when he's one of the more high-strung callers we have when he's mad. I love it.
Oh, shit.
I hope I hope he's right. I do. That'd be tremendous. Yo Holmes writes in, Beast is a policeman, a military veteran, and a professional grass cutter. Well said. Robert writes in, Gorman is now going to do 10 sit-ups and 10 push-ups a day. Ladies and gentlemen, I know where Beastbreaker was. I just finished laundry, he says. Ladies and gentlemen, let's head to the lair.
Right now, we're getting some gabagool. If you really want some gabagool, you gotta come get the gabagool. Catch you later.
I've been on my feet since 6 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's see. Weeding. Getting rid of all the peanut shells. Dumping out all the garbage. Taking care of the laundry. Making sure everything's under control. My umbrella all tightened up and screwed. Laundry. Into the chute. 6:15 Eastern Time. Done at 10:04 a.m. my time, but 11:04 your time. See.
Wait a second. 11:04 hasn't happened yet.
Yes, it has. Look at your clock. I already have my clocks on. It says 10:04 a.m. on my clock. You
Your
guys
clock
are
is wrong. It's 11:01.
Well, mine's 3 minutes ahead.
So are you in the
3 minutes
future?
Hey, if I'm not Doc Emmett Brown, I'd say these words. If my calculations are correct, if you're not prepared for the big hype or the big fight, you're not prepared. You're not prepared. And right now I got to do a little something called get rid of the smell.
You're gonna need more than that to get rid of the smell in there.
Hey, these come handy, my friends. This is good and fresh. I've been on my feet all morning. It's called, hey, I deserve a little break and a little bit of gratitude. But I think it's time to say goodbye to Lazard. We don't need him. He's flat weight. Can't have it.
Rick Kent says that you're on Beastern time zone.
He goes with Rogers and his other friends, and move on. We need new talent and new beef.
Hey,
and
Will writes in, Beast, keep spraying. He can smell the stench still.
Cut the ties with Lazard and say goodbye to him.
Hey, Beast, keep spraying. He could smell it.
For you, it's maybe coffee, but
hey, Beast, keep spraying there. It apparently still smells.
I already got laundry to go take care of. It's all over here. My laundry. Got work to do.
Can we see the laundry?
See you later.
Can we see the laundry? He's gone. I don't think Beast could hear anything I was saying. He just wasn't answering anything. God. Ryan writes in, I'm so jealous of Beast. Zero responsibility. It does whatever he wants all day. Ladies and gentlemen, Gary writes in, laundry. Nah, I got a wife for that. Gary has zero respect for women. Telling you. Tom Ace writes in, Beast is all about TCB, taking care of business. I didn't even get to ask Beast about his Father's Day with little Joey. What did little Joey get him? Shout out to Anthony. He says, hello, Asmaniacs. Hope all the dads had a great Father's Day. Hope you had a great Father's Day. Ladies and gentlemen, reminder, this week's raffle is awesome. Full-size Broadway Joe Namath signed football. Darrelle Revis signed football. Wayne Corbett signed jersey. Can't wait. Plus, signed Kevin Mawai jersey. Daily raffle prizes throughout the week. Thanks to all the Jet fans and the Asmaniacs tuned in on a slow June, but still got some interesting nuggets to react to from Samini's article on ESPN.com. More of your calls right now. Charleston Jets Rube is back with us from the Nudist Colony. Hello, Charleston.
Hey, sorry about that. I got a call from my stepdaughter to me to help her bring some stuff up, but she was at her dad's house for Father's Day, and she asked me to help her bring stuff up, and then she surprised me with this. I'm a big candle guy. Look at that. That's a 135-ounce candle.
Nice.
I love candles. Yeah, think cool water. It smells like cool water. So
Cool
it's
water. I like
ocean smell. But yes, I did want to say Happy Father's Day to all the Asmaniac dads out there. Hope everybody had a good one. But my question to you, Jake, is I've heard a couple people say, let's go ahead and sign Sauce and Garrett now to, since we have so much cap room. And, if we're signing them to an extension, the only way that I could think of that would maybe we could use some of our cap space this year, would it be like a signing bonus? Like how would, signing them to an extension cut into this year's cap at all? How does that work?
Yeah, so it long story short, it wouldn't. Because they would just basically be tacking on years to what
That's
is
what
their
I
current,
thought.
their
but
current
I keep
contract.
hearing people say that.
Let's
let's sign them now while we have all the cap space. And I was like, well, that doesn't really affect
their
this
number
year,
is
does
already
it?
set for this year. Like nothing would be now. Maybe the 5th-year option would be ripped up, and they'd have different salary cap hits starting next year because of this new contract. But this year's number, they're going to get their number on what it is on the rookie contract.
Yeah, I kind of thought that's what it was, but I mean, it would be nice if, like when you were talking with Jason in Jerusalem there, and thank goodness everything's okay on his end. We're glad to hear that. But when you were talking to him, that was my question: is do we get to carry over every dollar for dollar? But you said there's some kind of formula put into it. Because if you could carry over every dollar to dollar, then it would make sense to put off some of Aaron Rodgers' money. But
you could carry over certainly some of it, right? And they've done that. I just thought if they were going to spread it out over 2 years and do the same with Mosley, they would have been more aggressive in free agency with certain players, and they weren't.
that was going to be my point. Maybe that means that once these teams start doing their final cuts down and all that, maybe they're kind of saving some money there to plug some holes. Maybe they're like, rather than go out and get some somebody now where it's a little sparse, maybe they wait until people, however many cut downs there are. What is it, 3 or 4 different cut downs? Maybe they're saving money for that to go out and get. The couple wide receivers that we keep talking about are like Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen. Personally, I don't want Amari Cooper. I did see a lot of Bills games last year, just because they were opposite a lot of the Jets games, and obviously early on, I thought we had a chance at the division. How much of a joke that was, but yeah. My God, I think I just lost my train of thought. I was going to make a good point too.
That's what happens when you live on a nudist colony.
In Charleston, dude, I tell you what, I'm not complaining because I moved from Minneapolis and I will never miss another 40 or 60 below. But these summers, man, they're hot, dude. They're hot. And I like to sit out on my balcony and I get the morning sun. So I kind of got the sun on me. I'm out of the sun right now purposefully. But anyways, yeah. So with anyways, I just think that, hopefully they're saving that money for the different cut downs and we are going to pick up some people. It sounds like we do have a lot of, a lot of guys that showed up a little bit on the OTA on the defensive line. But, honestly, more than anything, I think if I could prefer somebody, it would be a D tackle. But what I was saying before was Amari Cooper. I think Amari Cooper, man, last year with the Bills, he just did not look good. And when you got Josh Allen who can throw the ball man, there were times they were only throwing him the ball once or twice a game. I just don't have any faith in Amari Cooper being any good because let's be honest, if Josh Allen can't get him the ball, do we really expect Justin Fields to?
I'd rather Keenan Allen if they're going to sign a veteran.
I've always been on the Keenan Allen train if we are going to get any of them. But what is he, 32? He's going to be 33 in the season. He's been injured a lot. I mean, I wouldn't mind Keenan Allen, but, maybe the thoughts are there's going to be somebody along the way with these, few cut downs that happen that are going to come up. So, in my mind, that would be the 2 spots that we would go, even though I think we're going to be better at receiver than what most people think. I think a D tackle and potentially another receiver would probably be the way we would go on these cut downs. And Glenn and Muji seem like they're doing things real smart. There's gotta be a reason why they spread that money over. So I'm still very hopeful that it would just make sense that they did that for this time. Does that make sense for the cut down times to pick up people?
Yeah, I think that is certainly a possibility, Charleston. We don't know what the MO is of what Glenn and Muji do just yet. Like, we're all going through it for the first time here. But I'd imagine, given that there are some what we feel like obvious needs, if they think, hey, this receiver got released from a different team or this defensive end got released and can help us, I think they would definitely add someone. Wouldn't surprise me. And we'll see how they are at that, because say what you want about Joe Douglas, one thing he was pretty good at was waiver wire claims. They found good players off the waiver wire. Braxton Berrios, John Franklin Myers, Quincy Williams. So, look, ultimately, Joe Douglas, he was what he was, but he did handle that aspect of team building pretty well. Certainly better than his predecessors. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Indy Jets is on the line. His Pacers are headed for a Game 5 in OKC later. Hello, Indy.
Good morning, Jake. How are you, buddy?
What's up, man?
Okay, 2 things. First, we're talking about the Charles, a job situation.
Yep.
If you want, on Nick Shine show last night, Nick had Lane Train interviewing Charles about the job interview. You got to go watch it.
I saw it. You didn't see me in the chat. I was in there.
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't see it. I didn't see you in there. I'm sorry, but yeah. So there's information out there. It's great. But hey, on the salary cap issue, we can roll over. You can actually roll over salary cap. And
Correct.
the NFL has to spend 89% of their salary cap over a 4-year period.
Okay.
So you can take if you're spending under your salary cap, you can roll that over, and to get to that 89%, let's say you only spend 85%. You're allowed to take all that salary cap over and spread that out over the next couple of years. And you can do that as long as you spend 89% of an average over 4 years. So if they got this $10 million, they can save that for next year. And obviously our salary cap goes up next year. It usually goes up 9-10%, plus that next extra $10 million. Right there's your Garrett. Sauce contracts without having to spend extra money, if that makes sense.
So I was unaware what the actual CBA rule was over like how much you could roll over, but that's the point I'm making, that essentially if you spend a certain amount, you could roll it over. And the Jets have, by the way, so it wouldn't surprise me if their plan is, hey, we'll keep a lot of this and then we'll be more aggressive next year.
Yeah, they have to average it out over a 4-year period. So when they say a hard salary cap, it's very fluid, because they can take that they can just write it in a verbiage and say, okay, Garrett Wilson, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars, but we don't give you that bonus till, say, the 3rd year on the books. He might get it all up front, but they can move that all the way to the 3rd year if they want, and say take a huge hit on a 3rd year, take Sauce's huge hit on the 2nd year, and they get their money at the same rate. It's just a matter of how they put it on their books. So they've got a 4-year window that they can write it down and say, hey, we're going to apply this cap to this huge cap hit to this year, and boom, you just flew it, you
could give more of a signing bonus to lower the cap. Like there's ways teams do that. Like the Eagles are the kings of that because they have an owner who's willing to put a lot of the cash up front, right?
Yeah, they got to put that cash up front, and also all that cash has to go into in an escrow account. So even if they're not getting it there, it goes into it. The owner has to upfront that guarantee money too. So it all has to go into their account. Yeah,
I have some great news for you. Alan says OKC -9.5. Lay the wood.
You know what? It's Alan. So you just kind of take it for a grain of salt. It's almost like Bobby getting a job or whatever. I put those two about on the same level of
Bobby catching strays. Wow.
It'll happen. Someday Alan will be right. He's not a Jets fan. I get it. But he's more of an anti-Jets fan. Some people are Patriots fans. Some people are Steelers fans. Alan's not a fan of NFL teams. He likes all 31 teams but the Jets. That's the fandom that Alan is.
Correct.
Yeah. So it's not a matter of he likes one team. It's like when you're talking to Six Rings. He's kind of a Patriots fan. Alan is not a Patriots fan. Alan is not a Steelers fan, but he is an anti. Yeah, exactly. He's just an anti-Jets fan. If the Jets win the Super Bowl, he's still going to have something to say negative about us, and we just kind of just take Alan with a grain of salt anymore. It's almost like the fake BMAC that comes in and out of here. We know where they stand, but. Yeah, I just wanted to touch base on that contract issue, So when everybody's saying, "Hey, we got this $10 million, why don't we spend it?" We don't have to, because we can spend it next year and go over the cap, kind of, and make those contracts. Because I think you're going to see some big contracts coming up. Hopefully, we better, with Garrett and Sauce, and we'll have that extra, an extra $10 million to just kind of play with on the salary cap. And if it goes up 9%, 10%, that's another 25 million, $27 million that goes up, plus another 10 million. Our salary, we could exceed next year's salary cap by 37 million. And
well, I do think they're going to be a lot more aggressive next year, assuming, this is like year one of them taking a positive step forward, right? Good call, Indy. Good luck to your Pacers tonight, even though I don't like them. It's going to look, I think a lot of it, though, also comes down to like, is Fields the guy for another year? Or are we starting a rookie quarterback next year because Fields is not the guy? Brian says, Jake started early today. I started on time. What do you mean? We went live at 10:15, baby. I either go live at 10 or I usually go live on the first show unless the guest is late or I got something in the morning I got to do with radio or something. Usually 10 or 10:30, I try to be live in that spot. And then we're live either at 4 or 4:30 in the afternoon block. Which, by the way, today, first time guest joining us. I've known this guy a long time. He's on the Jets beat for the NJ record. Andy Vasquez will join us at 4 p.m. Eastern on the second show today. For those of you watching live, I think it'll be good to get his perspective on everything. He's been at all the OTAs and minicamp as well. Hit the like button if you haven't. Reminder for those of you just tuning in. And let's see, we have 270 people watching live right now, it says. This right here is a signed Kevin Mawai jersey in my hand, and I will give it to one lucky listener at the end of the show. Gift a channel membership to be entered. And when you gift for the Mawai jersey, you're automatically entered in the raffle for the signed Wayne Corbett jersey, signed Darrelle Revis football, and signed Joe Namath football. So multiple chances to win signed Jets items during the week on the show. More of your calls right now, ladies and gentlemen. This guy made some disparaging comments about lovely ladies earlier in the program, and he has called in to respond to those comments.
He's pointing. Garrett Box, point at you. Garrett Box, he point at you. Garrett Box, I'm pointing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. Garrett Box, point at you. I point.
What put in quotes the disparaging comment I made about women.
Say that again? What?
I said put in quotes the disparaging comment I made about women. Go ahead.
I don't want to. I thought I bookmarked it, but apparently it didn't bookmark. So I don't want to quote you wrong because then you'll jump me. So what was your actual comment?
Paraphrase it. Go ahead. Paraphrase it.
Laundry? Nah, I got a wife for that.
Where's the disparaging comment about the women? How's that disparaging?
Only women can do laundry, Gary. You can't do your own laundry.
I could. I choose not to. Right. This is like when women say, "I'm an independent woman. I pay my own bills." Like, oh, okay, so you're an adult. I get it. I've been doing that since I'm 18. So you can do that, but why would you want to? Right. I could do laundry. I learned how to use the washing machine in my house like a month ago. Remember, I called in. I had to use. My wife was out of town, and I had to wash some sheets. I learned.
Black Gypsy says you hate women. Is this true?
It's really weird, right? Because I've chosen to marry one and give my life to providing and protecting for one. Has he? Have you?
Know.
Have you?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not married.
Right.
I respect women.
I made a really weird choice on who I marry, like a really strange one.
But I respect women.
Do you?
I do.
How so? How so?
I think they have a right to vote, unlike you.
How is that respecting them?
Because I think a woman's vote and a man's vote should be equal.
I don't think all men should vote either. I think a very small percentage of men should vote. I don't. There's one vote for one person thing. I think it's one of the worst ideas I've ever heard in my life. I think it's ridiculous, and I don't think women should vote at all. I think that's just being silly. I think in your heart of hearts you think that's silly too. It's just become such a popular thing to say.
No, in my heart of hearts, I think that women have every right to vote, Gary.
I think that's utterly ridiculous. They should vote now because the votes of the foolish women would just outweigh the votes of the non-voting wise women. So they're in a position where they have to vote now. But women voting, come on, Jacob. Come on. It took men 5,000 years to create this society. It took women 2 generations to destroy it. Come on.
How have women destroyed society?
Look around you. I look around you, Jake. We live in a world where women are fighting for the right to be naked on the internet. Oh, we'll show men. We'll show them. We'll have sex with them without commitment and be naked on the internet all the time. And then we'll show the men. It's like, I don't think you thought that through there. No, I don't know what the problem is, but I know that it was caused by feminism, and the carnivore diet probably fixes it.
And you actually believe all this, right?
Yeah, I think feminism is a work for evil that needs to be eradicated. I think it's the cause of most of the problems in the world. Most of them. I 100% believe that.
Really?
If you ask my wife, she would agree with you too. Yeah, like Bobby always says, my wife's not a feminist. My wife has traditional Christian values. She agrees with me. I wouldn't marry someone.
Does your wife think she shouldn't be allowed to vote?
My wife agrees with me that women shouldn't vote. But now that they are allowed to vote, you have to go vote. Otherwise, you're just going to get
Your wife thinks that she shouldn't be allowed to vote.
She thinks women should not be allowed to vote. Correct. Yes. This is not a crazy take. There should be one house, one vote. Like my parents used to.
So
do
you
this.
never
I'm not gonna
disagree
say
with anything with your wife?
We're a team. If we disagree, we come to an agreement. Like this is what I don't understand. We're a team. It's like if you're in a huddle and the quarterback and the left tackle and the wide receiver all want to run different plays, we're not going to move the ball at all, are we? We're going to have major problems here, right? So we need to all be on the same accord.
Yeah, but why are you more qualified to vote than your wife?
Because men are more logical. Men live a harder life. Men have to make more. You can laugh at it. You can go back to the beginning. Who was deceived, the man or the woman?
Who was deceived?
Who was deceived in the beginning? Who was deceived in the garden, the man or the woman?
I mean, I don't want to go all religious on you, but like that this is a ridiculous argument you're making right now.
Every single company in the world that advertises towards women. Do you know why? Because they're easier to manipulate. That's why. You can say I'm wrong, but then you have to tell every single company in the world that advertises that they're also wrong. Right?
So advertisers don't try and manipulate a male audience to buy their product?
It's easy to manipulate women. That's why they advertise towards women. Women make 80% of the purchases. They carry most of the debt in the country. There's a reason for that. I'm just giving you facts. You may not like those facts, but those are all facts. They may make you feel yucky, but everything I just told you is factual. Right? The woman was deceived first. Every company advertises towards women because women make the purchases, women carry the debt, and they're easier to manipulate. It's evidently true. I'm not hating on women. I'm just giving you facts.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the AsManiac Rumble.
Gary.
What's up, my man, Black Gypsy? How are you?
What's up, bro?
What's
I'm
up,
good.
my
I'm
man?
good. So, the 80% thing that you speak of is a fact, but you're not.
Everything I just told you was a fact.
But you're not giving context. You're not giving context to why it's a fact. You want to know the reasons why females shop more?
We can hypothesize on this, right? Like my woman makes all the purchases in our house. I don't spend any money. She goes to the store, she buys everything. So she makes almost nearly 100% of the purchases in my home.
The reason why is because
we can hypothesize on why. We can hypothesize on that.
They take care of our families. And so
they do.
That within itself would be like, I mean, like, so let me ask you a question, Gary.
Mm-hmm.
If your wife had something important to choose, right? Like your life is on the line and she has to be that vote but she can't vote, what would you do?
This is like a strange type of thing. Run that
It is.
by me
It
one
is.
more time.
It's a
Run
strange
it
type
by
of
me
time.
one more.
So,
So my
so,
wife has to.
so your
Yeah.
wife, your wife has the right to vote on something, right? That pertains to you. You wouldn't want her to vote?
It's not that I don't want her to vote, right? You don't put your own need over the need of the community, over the need of the whole, right? Like
But
just
the
because
reason
there's
why.
one woman who might be able to vote doesn't mean that women in general should vote, right? Like, can you
So,
individually
so,
select
it, so,
some women that might not?
so your wife will be able to vote for you, right? Yeah.
No, I don't
If
think.
you
I
need,
don't think. I'm a man. I have principles. In my principle, I don't think women should vote. I don't
all right.
think
So,
criminals should vote. I don't think unemployed men should vote. I don't think people who live off the government should vote. I don't think low IQ
right.
people should vote. I don't think most people should vote. I think the voting class should be like a very small percentage of the people. Very small. You
So,
have to check all of
so,
these boxes.
so basically, the people that are the elitists would be the people that you want to vote, not the actual culture of people.
It depends on what you mean by elitist. So by elitist, you mean someone who's a taxpayer, someone who's not in prison,
I'll
someone
give you
who's
a good
married
example.
with kids.
I'll give you a good example. Woody Johnson or you? Who deserves a vote more?
I don't know Woody Johnson. Is Woody Johnson married with kids? Does he pay taxes or does he receive tax dollars like most Fortune 500
He
companies
runs
do?
one of the biggest companies in the
Yeah,
country.
and a lot of them don't pay any taxes and get
Okay,
plenty of handouts from the government.
by your statement, he would have more value towards society than you would. So he would have a right
Woody
to vote
Johnson
more than you
absolutely
would.
has more value towards society than me. I don't know if he would check all the boxes that I would have, but Woody Johnson definitely has more value to society than me. How many people does he
All right, so
employ?
I
employ
wanted
two.
you
How
to
many does he employ?
I wanted you to say that, right? Because there's Woody Johnson is in charge of what pharmaceutical company, or is a part of what pharmaceutical company?
Well, he's got an heir lineage to Johnson Johnson.
All right. That same company that you would give him the higher vote because he has more power than we do and he does more for society, right? That same person, that same company made those vaccines for us. Those vaccines that were bad for us, that were trying to kill us. Now, if we didn't have somebody else to vote on the other side, like a you, then we wouldn't, it would just be them making decisions. So for a female,
Woody Johnson is the only person who can vote. There's lots of people.
I use that as an example. So when it comes to women and the rights for what they have to do with their own bodies, that's why they have the right to vote. All medication that's made, you know that a male medication, like anything for a dude, is cheaper than a thing for a female. Females pay more for their medication. Their stuff isn't covered by their insurance.
This is probably true, but yeah, no,
It is true.
Okay,
it's true.
No, I've never looked into that. It sounds true to me.
A man runs our society. Men run our society. So if we're running our society, the other people that are a part of our society should have something to say about how they need to vote or what they need to do. So in essence, you're saying that a woman has no value if she can't vote, because that means she can't vote for her own personal interests.
No,
if she's not in the family.
Voting is mostly silly, right? I'm not going to get political. They call it a democracy. They give you two choices: Trump or Biden. Pick one. Trump or Kamala Harris. Pick one. That's not really a democracy. Voting is mostly. I'm not going to get political. Voting is mostly silly, right? But no, I think that the power to vote is the power to divide. So now you can divide families, which is exactly what they want. If every family has to come to an agreement, yeah, let's sit down, let's discuss this, and let's place one vote for one family, one household, one vote. Let's sit down as adults, discuss who we're going to vote for, and go vote. I grew up in a household where my parents would drive to the polls together. My dad would vote for one candidate, my mom would vote for the other. It's like, this is ridiculous.
I need to hear your wife say that she doesn't have the right to vote, because what you're saying is that your wife basically says that women should not have rights. I've never heard a female say women should not have rights. The right to vote is a basic right. If we can do it, why wouldn't they be able to do it?
Because I just explained why. Because now you're dividing the household.
But Gary, they have their own interests. Voting is abortion. If a female wants the right to have an abortion, she should be able to. Like, you can't take away someone's right. If we don't want a kid, we cannot say we don't want a kid. We have that right.
If you say I don't want a kid, you have to pay for that kid till she's 18, right? If it's her body, her choice, then she doesn't need your money to make that choice. You're saying it's her choice, right? Then she doesn't need your money. It's her choice.
Is it your choice to have sex with somebody?
It was her choice. No, that was her choice. Women are the gatekeepers for sex.
But it's also, you also have a choice in there. You're the person with power. Like if you're
I'm winning
the
premarital
only
sex
person
at
that has
all.
the
So you're talking
voting
to the
right,
wrong person, right? You're
yeah,
talking
that's
to the wrong
crazy.
person.
That's a crazy.
Okay. You can call it crazy if you want. If we eliminated premarital sex tomorrow, if no one ever had premarital sex again, most of the world's problems would disappear overnight. It would. You might not like that. That may upset you, but it's true. I think Black Gypsy is frozen. This was going to be a good
I
dialogue.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I mean, I believe in free speech, but good God, Gary, you are so wrong. It's unreal. It's unreal. Black Gypsy, well done, man. Way to keep your cool. That's, oh my God, unbelievable. Hey, Gary's gonna Gary. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, Anthony has gifted 5 channel memberships right before all that madness.
We are mama way.
Here's who got the memberships from Anthony, who's in our raffle for 5. Thank you, Anthony. Always appreciate your support. Well, apparently the chat exploded with too many comments, so it buried Anthony's memberships. I don't know who got them. YouTube's not telling me. But if you did get one from Anthony specifically, make sure you thank him. We got him down in the raffle for 5. And then during the Gary versus Black Gypsy madness there, Jorge gifted 10 channel memberships. Let's go now. Give me money. Or I shoot him. And I shoot all you motherfuckers. And then we take it. Your choice, bitches. Ladies and gentlemen, David Gerard, Gary Hates Women, Rich Samini's Crusty Tissue, Dewey Eiler, Dan Mataloni, CJ, Me Now, Michael Karan, I Own Coin, Justin, Gaming with Chris, all receiving a channel membership there from the great Jorge Perez. Jorge, thank you. We will get you in the weekly raffle and our Kevin Mawai signed jersey raffle at the end of the show for 10. Jet Set Go with a super chat. Gary can't actually believe this. You have a daughter. This is what you want for her? She should just laundry cook and keep her mouth shut? People fired up about Gary. Indy Jets, greatest quote ever. Women are easy to manipulate. Sandy Ego Frank, quite a bit behind, but hearing Sauce and Garrett signing their contracts together gave me chills. I can't wait for Sandy to get to the Gary versus Black Gypsy portion of the show. Thanks for watching, Sandy. Uno Jets is in the raffle for 2 with this $10 super chat. Reminder, $10 super chats is the minimum to get in the raffle for 2 entries. Let's go, Jets. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls on our Gusbuster Umbrella hotline. And let's check in with someone we may or may not be able to hear. We may or may not be able to see. You truly have no idea what you're going to get when it's a Mikey Midnight call.
Hello, I'm Mikey. I'm Bobby's little bro. Have you seen Jake Graves? She's so beautiful. I love my boy Jake, but not in a gay way. I am so happy. I'm not going to touch anything, I promise.
Mikey?
Jake.
Mikey?
Hey, Jake, you hear me?
Oh, can I hear you all right?
Yeah, Jake, yeah.
Yeah.
Jake. I love you, buddy.
Mikey.
Yeah, I got the Knicks. The Knicks go win the championship.
Can we get a coach first?
Yeah, we go get a coach. We go get and I love you. Yeah, well, hopefully. What was his name? Mike Brown.
Mike Brown? Taylor
Yeah.
Jenkins?
Yeah, China Jenkins. I like that guy better. I love that guy.
Yeah.
He's my homeboy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the Jets go win the Super Bowl this year. They go be 15-2.
15-2.
The Jets.
In Madden?
Yeah, and no, real life, real life.
Real life.
15-2, we're going to win.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, real life, real life, real life.
Mikey, how's the job at the hospital going?
Good, because everybody's getting laid off right now. Except me, because I've been 20 years.
Wow. You've been there for 20 years?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, I love you. I love you, Jake. You're my best friend in the whole world, too.
You're my guy, Mikey. I love you too.
You're my homeboy. You're my homeboy. No one picked against you. I love you. You're the number one host in the whole world. The whole world.
Thanks, Mikey. You're the best. All right. Call back anytime, okay?
Okay, love you.
Love you too. Mikey Midnight, everybody.
Hello, I'm Mikey. I'm Bobby's little bro. Have you seen Jake Graves? She's so beautiful. I love my boy Jake, but not in a gay way. I am so happy. I'm not going to touch anything, I promise.
I love you, Mikey. You're the man. We actually heard him today. Didn't get off to a good start, but then boom, all of a sudden, a call that actually worked. Rob writes in, if the Jets go 15-2, I'll give 50 memberships. I'll match whatever you gift, Rob, if they go 15-2. In fact, I'll double it. So if you give 50, guess what? I'll gift 100. 15-2. I can't even imagine what that would feel like. You know? Like, I want to believe in my lifetime I'll see a year like that, but I have no faith in that. I'm just trying to get a 9-8 season right now. You know? 9-8 would do wonders for me, this channel, the Asmaniac community. Restore some hope and faith that we actually have a coach. Vibes would be a lot higher. 15-2, though. Mikey says it. I'm in. Anthony says, I've been waiting for 53 years for them to win more than 12 games. Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to be waiting a little while longer. God. Jets Johnny says, if the Jets go 15-2, I'll donate 200 memberships and shave my head live on the show. I'll match your 200 memberships, Jets Johnny, if they go 15-2. How much would that be, by the way? 200 memberships, that's 200 times 5, right? Roughly. I know YouTube has like a slight tax. So that's $1,000. I'm matching that. 15-2. Mother effing Chew, it's not 200 memberships, but you got to be in it to win it. He's in the raffle for one by gifting one channel membership.
I might be big, I might be bad, but I'm going to take your ass down.
Chew, appreciate your support. Your membership was gifted to listener Charlie Rose. Man. Jake Quest. Jesus, Jake, you really need a calculator for that. Yes. I told you, I'm not a math guy. Jake Quest. Jake, would you give up sex for 5 years for 15-2? 5 years? You got to tell me where the 15-2 gets us. We're the 1 seed in the AFC, right? Do we win the Super Bowl? Right? I need to know. Because I hate that. I hate to be negative, but how jet-like would it be if they go 15-2 and then lose like the Lions in the divisional round? We finally get this amazing year. I would need to know a little more. Clancy, you're already 3 years in. Got him. Eli, super chat. He's in the raffle for 2. Eli winning a signed Garrett Wilson one-handed catch photo on the show on, I think it was Friday. Back for more. I can't believe we haven't won more than 7 games in 10+ years. Yeah. I mean, it's pathetic. It's funny. I said that stat to someone that works for the Jets. I won't say who. They couldn't believe it. Everyone talks about the playoff drought. I'm like, you guys realize you haven't won more than 7 games in 10 years? Alan writes in, if it wasn't for sports, Ginger would be in a lot of trouble in life. Alan, if it wasn't for me, you would have no friends. Think about it. You need this show. This show is your social life. You need me. You know it's true. You can't live without this show. Mr. Oh, I retired from calling, but you live in the chat section every day. You need me, Alan. You know it. I know it. Everyone watching knows. Boomtown writes in, Jake, well, at 15-2, you'll have to eat your hat, smear peanut butter all over your body, and spend $1,000 in gift memberships. And you know what? It would all be worth it. Charleston says, I love my Jets, but sex, come on. I mean, 15-2, I'd give it up for the year. No problem. 5 years, though? I mean, that's tough. Because I need a Super Bowl if I'm making that investment. Beastbreaker writes in, Allen is a jobber and a worthless wimp. Fair point. Phones, I can't read your comment. Also, you know what? I will put it up on the screen. And the reason why he wrote Virginia is because I'm sure YouTube blocked the real word he was trying to use here. Unreal. Frank says, Jake, if my name comes up in the raffle, just pick another name. Frank, I'll tell you what, we'll swap you. We'll send you an alternate prize if you happen to win. And I'll pick another name. Nate says, let's be honest, Jake and Alan need each other. I'm doing just fine without Alan. He chooses to tune into the show. I've never once said, Alan, please call in. Please, we need you. Eli says, if the Jets go 15-2, you got to do a Charles Gorman and shave your chest on the air. 15-2, I'll shave my chest on the air. Boomtown added to the list. These are all good things. That's fine. Dan says he'd give up his wife for 15-2. I know who also would give up his wife for 15-2.
I would not give up my wife at 15-2. I don't know where that comes from. I respect women. I love my wife. I would not give up my. We could still win the Super Bowl at 14-3 also, right? Like 14-3, I'm not complaining about, and we could still win the Super Bowl. So I'm not giving up my wife for 15-2. And can we be honest?
No, we can't be honest. Because you're not being honest. You'd sell your wife in a second for 15-2. Jay Quest apparently gave me parameters. I'm looking. Derek says, Jake, is it true that Bobby got a job with Allen and that's why he stopped calling in? No, but I think Allen somehow convinced Bobby to not call in as much. So blame Allen for that. Multiple people have told me that. So that's my belief. Also, I think Bobby's very jealous of all the fame from Beast and Gorman. I mean, Bobby went live at the same time as little Joey's birthday party. The one-time Gators going live. But to be fair to Bob, he did call in on Saturday and had a good call. So maybe he's just going through one of his moods right now, and he's okay. Jay Quest, I'm trying to find your stipulations, but I can't find it. Where is this? Okay, here it is. 15-2, 1 seed, beat Pats in AFC Championship, beat Giants in the Super Bowl, and I'll cut my D off for that. Yeah, you know what? That might be worth it. You're giving me a 15-2 season with a 1 seed. We beat the Patriots in the AFC Championship game, and then we stick it to the Giants in the Super Bowl. At that point, I don't need my penis. I need a catheter. And you know what? I'll be very happy in life. Is this the stipulation? If so, then you know what? I think we have no choice. Also, Jake was. I'm not reading that last one. Oh my god. Rebecca says, if the Jets go 15-2, I'll donate $100 to the show. And for my poor ass, that's a ton of money. I want to make it clear, Rebecca, you're a valued listener. No one needs to donate anything. It's appreciative. It allows me to do this full time. But if you watch every day like you do, that's more than enough. Just the like button, subscribe, spread the word. It goes a long way. Ladies and gentlemen, people were asking about this guy. We'll ask him point blank. If Alan told him to stop calling in.
Hi, Jake. No, he didn't. I was walking outside. Just got in from my walk today.
You're saying he never told you, like, when you last saw
No,
him?
he never did. When he took me out to dinner, he never said anything
All
about
right.
you.
People told me he did. I'm not saying he did or
Well,
didn't.
I don't know where the people got it because I never told anybody, and he never met your name at all. So I don't know where people are getting their information from. I don't know.
Hey, Bobby, what do you think of Leany saying, I just tuned in for a Super Bowl. I would give up sex for the rest of my life.
I feel bad for Mrs. Leany, Mr. Leany.
Because he wouldn't be getting laid?
Yeah. Leany, you can't say that.
Calm your freaky down.
I didn't say anything.
That wasn't for you. That was for Leany.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I just took a nice walk. I saw you have Michael on, and I hear that you have you were asking about me, so I called in. So,
Hey, what do you think of Gary saying women shouldn't be allowed to vote?
well, that's ridiculous. He has some ridiculous thoughts, I tell you. When he calls it to my show, he drives me nuts sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
He has the worst comments of all. Like, he puts women down all the time.
He does.
And he, other things, too, that drive me nuts, too. Oh, the other day, they were on, him and Dave Berger got into a big fight. Oh, my God.
Well, that's every day.
They would talk about being Christian and all that. Oh, God. Where did that come from? No religious shouldn't come on my show, please. Thank you. I just don't like that. And the Yankees got swept by the Red Sox.
Yeah, but it might have been worth it with Devers being traded.
Yeah, that's true. I heard he got traded, and he always beats the crap out of the Yankees.
He does. He owns them. Now
And
he
the
can't.
Mets got swept by Tampa Bay. So.
It's baseball.
Our New York team didn't do good this year. This weekend, I mean. How was your radio show yesterday?
It was good. 4 hours is long when it's non-football season, a little slow.
Oh, I know. Well, you still got baseball and basketball.
Yeah, baseball on the national scale is hard to talk about, though. It just is.
Yeah,
It's
that's
such
true.
a regional
Every-
sport. You know, I can't
Yeah.
break down the Cincinnati Reds and people will care.
Oh,
outside
yeah.
of
That's,
Cincinnati.
no, football, you could.
Whereas I break down the Bengals dealing with Shamar Stewart and Trey Henderson's contracts, people care everywhere. So it's just different.
Yeah. We are going to the game to see October 19th, me and Michael.
I've heard that.
Yeah, we'll be down there. I got the tickets from Nick brought them for me already. I had his money, he brought it for me. So
What's
'Cause
the
I
deal with
told
your
him to
eye,
hold-
Bobby?
It's still there. It's still. I got some medicine in it right now.
You have the David T eye.
Yep, I told you what happened to it. My eyelashes growing some eyelids. It's ridiculous.
So to be
Still
clear,
scratch hernia.
no one ripped in your face, correct?
No, nobody ripped. It's every 6 months my eyelashes grow inside my eyelid.
Black Gypsy says, Bobby, are you mad at us or Jake? How come you stopped calling?
Like Gypsy, it's summertime outside. I want to get my fat ass outside. It's
That
not
never
winter.
stopped you last summer.
Well, last time I was fatter than a fat pig. I want to lose weight. Stuff.
So how long was your walk today?
About an hour.
Nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful out there today. Yesterday we had a beautiful day. My daughter took me out for lunch at Applebee's. Had chicken, white rice, and some coleslaw.
Nick Shine wants to know what you're weighing right now.
I have to weigh myself tomorrow morning after I take a big dump. Then I will tell you, Nick Shine. I will mail it to send it to you, so he can see too.
How come you didn't get the app sampler from Applebee's?
Just like the chicken. I like chicken.
I see.
Yeah, I'm a chicken person.
Ralphie wants to see what your head of lettuce looks like.
Head of lettuce. I got a head hair.
That's what he's saying.
I need a haircut.
When you had the hair slicked back and you looked like Bobby Gotti, that was a good look for you.
Yeah, I know. I wear a hat more often than I do that.
Jquest says, I tried to call Bobby this morning, got the voicemail, so confirmed he was on a walk or ignoring my call. Probably the latter.
No, I was walking. Be quiet, Jquest.
Yeah, Jquest.
I wonder why you call me. Call in and tell me why you call me. I was interested when you call me. So you call.
Jquest is unbelievable. This guy, he's got some nerve.
No, he did go to my old, where I used to live. He did go to my old house.
Yeah, he also humped you and almost caused a serious injury.
Well, that was good news. That's how I got all the money and lost all the weight. Remember?
Oh no!
It won't be as cold as that day in October. I hope not. I don't think it will. I think it'll be nice.
I don't think so.
I think it'll be in the 50s. That's my guess. 50s in October, right? You take
What happened?
50s in October, you take it?
50s in October? Yeah, as long as it's not that windy, it's fine.
No, I don't think it might be windy. I think it's going to be like 50s. That's my guess. And then we're going, yeah, we're coming down on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, stayed in the hotel. Probably where we stayed the last time. It wasn't too bad. And it was a good room, and then it was right down the road from the stadium. No, we better not stay there. Where did we get? Well, I want to take the train, and that's where we get messed up. We got to go to the other one instead of getting off at the other.
Rebecca says, don't let your own weight bring you down. You're an amazing man.
I know. I'm trying to lose more weight. I don't care about the weight. I'm getting to bring down more.
Black Gypsy writes in, Bobby, did you enjoy little Joey's birthday party?
I did. I sang a happy birthday to him. Other people wanted me to go live. I went live, and then I went to say happy birthday to
Nate says that you haven't been the same since Mimosa rejected your marriage proposal. Is this true?
I never asked her to marry me. I do like the lady. I do get frustrated.
Would you say that she's a lovely lady?
Yes. Oh my God! When she fed her dog that one night on my show, I got a little flustered. What can I tell you?
Flustered?
She's a very pretty girl. She's my age. She's 51. So
I don't think flustered is the right word.
Well, my face got all red. Everybody was saying.
Your face turned red.
That's flustered, isn't it?
I'm not a wordsmith.
Like red. Guess who I called this weekend? I called the little guy, Frank Long.
You called into a show?
Yeah, he's off for the summer now. He's happy.
Nice.
And that little other guy, he's not from Hawaii. The other guy, Josh kid, he lied to me. He said he was from Hawaii.
Yes,
He's
because
from
usually when a stranger on the internet asks where someone's from, they don't always want to disclose that information.
Yeah, but he told me he was from Hawaii. He's from Brooklyn now. He's a good little kid. So they're out of school, both of them. So, and they're doing good.
Yeah.
They were happy I called in He hasn't talked to me in a long time. Kind of long. So he was happy. So who's on your second show today? Anybody interesting? Will
You are.
Parkinson? No, Will Parkinson.
No.
Oh, I thought he does Mondays with me.
Known woman hater Gary is my guest on the second show.
You gotta be kidding me.
Bobby, you really need to calm your freaky down, cause I'm not there to help you. Oh, wiggle, beagle, beagle, deedle, deedle, beagle, beagle.
That's another old one. That was from last year, right?
I gotta play the hits.
Yeah, that's the old stuff. You remember the
Also,
old stuff?
Eli believes the phrase you were looking for before is bricked up.
Nah. Not for. Nope, sorry. Nope. Nope. So you enjoyed talking to Mikey today?
I did. He had a great call. We actually could hear him.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what I don't know if he's on his new computer or what. It did sound like it came in clear. He came clear Saturday when he called to my show, but there was a little thing to it that I didn't like. But we'll get into that later in private chat. I'll tell you later.
All right.
Yeah, man. Okay, nice talking to you, Jake.
You too,
Everybody,
Bobby.
I'm back. See, I was taking a walk. I got my fat ass outside to take a walk, everybody. Enjoy. I'll see you second show. I'm going to have a show after Jake's first show today.
Oh, my
So
goodness.
well, I took a nap at 8. I went to bed at 8 o'clock last night.
You should
and I
just do
woke up
one
at
show, Bob. 2 shows, then you become a zombie. We've seen how this plays out.
I know, but yeah, I like
Just
the
do one
second
show. Take my advice, please. I have your best interest in mind.
Yeah, I like the second show because that I
That's
get
when more
more
people are free. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know. That's I don't like to do that, especially during the summer because everybody's busy.
Right. So do one show, put your energy into that, and make it a great
Yeah.
show.
Yeah, I'll do it right after your second show.
All right. Just go on another walk today. Enjoy the weather.
Yeah, and the Yankees are playing the Angels tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll do the Yankee watch party tonight.
Beautiful.
If
Well,
you
you know I love the Yankees and the Jets, and to read the super chats are more than just a hat. Bobby.
Ladies and gentlemen, a super chat from Gary. Face facts. Love him or hate him. The show is better with Alan. Strong take from Gary. Charleston Jetsroop says, quick question, Jake. Did Charles find a social security card? Got to make sure he locks down the BK job. I am told that things are going as planned for Bobby or for Charles to secure that job. But I have not received an update since last night. All right. Show's winding down here. Last chance to get in the Kevin Mawai signed jersey. Right here. The signature's on the inside. You can't see it. But I will mail that to you today if you win and I get your address. Jay Quest says that was an old school Bobby call. Good stuff. I liked it. That was a good call from Bobby. See, a guy like Eli, he wrote, wow, I've never seen that Jay Quest video before. A lot of new viewers all the time. That's why if you're a caller, you got to bring it. You can't rest on your laurels. More calls right now. Adam's next. What's up, Adam?
Hey, we still talking about Jets?
Of course.
Yeah. All right. Got a question for you. Who do you think is more likely to exceed expectations on the wide receiver front? Arian Smith or Alan Lazard?
It's a great question. I'm going to say Alan Lazard because at least he's been a productive NFL player, albeit it's been with Rodgers, but he's been a productive NFL player, whereas Arian Smith's a gigantic unknown. He wasn't that good in college. He was okay.
Yeah, that's interesting too. I actually take I think Alan Lazard comments that he made earlier a couple of weeks ago about how he wanted to prove himself, out of Rodgers' shadow. I think there's a lot of merit to that. I'm actually kind of intrigued to see how he shows up. Is he going to play in the preseason, catching any passes from anyone?
Right.
I'm actually really curious to see. I wonder if he's going to even play in the preseason. Any take on Aaron Glenn's stance on putting in potential starters in the preseason games? Have we gotten into that conversation yet?
I don't think he's been asked it. I
Yeah.
I think they're going to play in the preseason though. Glenn's an old school coach. He's talking about how they're going to have live tackling in training camp more often than they've had in years. I'd be very surprised if the starters don't play more in the preseason than what we have seen from Saleh the last couple of years.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think the race for like wide receiver 2 is fascinating unless they find somebody else or trade for somebody. I think it'll be very interesting to see how many wide receivers are featured, beyond Garrett. I think we all know what Garrett's all about, but for everybody else, it's, who knows who's going to show up, with the competition, see who thrives in it, especially if it's perceived as new competition as opposed to what it was sort of like last year where, the favorites may have been perceived as the ones that knew Aaron Rodgers the most and whatnot. So the preseason battle, I think that's a pretty underrated preseason battle. I really hope that they kind of show off and, make some really good plays, make the preseason games a little more interesting.
They're definitely going to be more interesting, assuming a lot of the starters play. And there's also a lot of like undecided stuff on this roster too, like D-line, receiver, safety. Some of these rookies are going to be out there that are going to play. Like Membu's going to play a lot. Probably play in all the preseason games.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm expecting that. Hopefully, just everyone stays healthy because really would hate to already start with a broken leg here or there, and on the O line and the D line, especially the D line, where we really don't know. I think there's a lot of promise and potential for the O line. A lot of expectations. So, and there was something I was mentioning in the chat an hour or so ago, but just curious what your thoughts were. Right? If we believe that Fields is redeemable, then why don't we feel that way about Clemens or others that may have an opportunity under a different regime to light a spark or to find their mojo? I mean, Sauce also, we're expecting him to return back to his first 2 seasons form as well. So, like, are we being unfair to certain players just because of last year's performance, and how much grace can we give them going into this season?
It depends who the player is, right? Like if you're Sauce Gardner, I think you'll get more of the benefit of the doubt because you've been great already as a Jet than Michael Clemens, right?
Yeah.
Depends who it is.
And I think that's with Clemens. I know what was the run block, the run protection wasn't that great, but it was also the penalties that I think really triggered fans, if I'm not mistaken. And so if the penalties are down, certainly he'll be looked more favorably. So hopefully that's the trick. Hopefully the defensive staff will be able to help him not make any mental mistakes. But all the other players too. A lot of the players were all making mental mistakes on defense last year. And I think we kind of single out Clemens because there were some notable ones, but I think there were a lot of them that were guilty. So I'm just looking forward to the whole defensive culture change, and hopefully that ends up resulting in a return back to form in terms of the Jets being known as a very, very strong defensive team.
They have the talent to do it. Now there's some depth issues that we talked about on today's show, but good call, Adam. You're right. They have way more talent on defense than I think nationally they're being given credit for. That doesn't mean that they're going to have an elite defense, but they could. I think the coaching there is way more of a known thing than the coaching on the offensive side of the ball. It's complete unknowns with Engstrand, the O-line coach. Defensively, like Steve Wilkes is a proven DC. Aaron Glenn's a proven DC. You got a lot of talent on that side of the ball. Now, I received a question from Charleston Jets Rube, live from his nudist colony, about an update on Charles' job at Burger King. Ladies and gentlemen, Charles' job coach is on the line. Coach Nick Shine joins us for an update. Hello, Nick.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Nick, I'm well. How are you?
All right. I just survived 20 minutes in a sauna. Didn't pass out. That's a good start to the day.
Fantastic. Now, what is the real task for the day today?
So, Charles talked to former Coach Mosk, or I guess assistant Coach Mosk, because they are still involved. And basically what's going to happen, they canceled the job tryout for tomorrow that they had scheduled because they don't provide transportation and the concerns that we expressed. She's gonna try to find something closer to his residence. He said that his parents are gonna get him the Social Security card either tonight after work or tomorrow, so he can proceed when Burger King makes their call today. Should be early afternoon, and then set something up for tomorrow. He'll have that in hand, and that's where we're at.
Here's a live look at Charles Gorman preparing for his first day at Burger King. I can't wait, Nick. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah. It's I mean, it's a simple start, right? But at least he'll have the responsibility of working, providing, and get that fulfillment. Something that he hasn't had in a minute. We tried last night. We had Charles was called in last night. He was on the show for quite a while, and it's basically the Charles and Lane show last night. And we told Charles, he's got to change his mindset. Wake up with some positive affirmations. Have a set of goals to do each day. Make the bed, clean the apartment, and big fella called in with some great advice, saying to stop, putting himself down. Speak positively about yourself. Help change your mindset. So hopefully, all the work. Of course, we had some fun. It's how the show is. But hopefully Charles took to heart all the positive feedback and life lessons that he got from everybody and starts to apply them, Jake.
He certainly will. I believe in Charles. Now, I have a question about the logistics of the Burger King job. Is it biking distance for him? Could we get him a bike so he could potentially exercise on his way to and from work?
I'm on it's like Route 35 here. It's 2 lanes on each side with a middle lane. For him to cross 5 lanes on the bike, I don't know if that's really a safe route to go. It is, I don't know his comfort level with that, but he does get a weekly stipend with Uber through his community inclusion groups that he can use however he wants. So if he's only going to work 2 days, it should be the cheapest price Uber. It should be $8 and change, or maybe 9 and change one way. So he wouldn't have to be coming out of pocket for that. And if it's 12 o'clock, I can help him out and get him to work at least,
Clancy wants to know there's no traffic lights.
There is, but this road it's 35, Clancy. It's like 35 or 36 down by you. I don't know Charles's level of comfort with that.
We might have found Charles a lovely lady as well. Rebecca wrote in when I put up the photo of Gorman in the Burger King uniform. Wow, Charles looks so beautiful. And then followed up and wrote, "My freaky is going wild."
Nice. Rebecca, where you located? Are you near Central Jersey? Maybe meet up with Charles?
First date at the BK.
Hell yeah. I could pick
Tom
them
A
up.
says, match made in chat heaven.
That's it.
Wouldn't be the first time that love was found through a Jet YouTube chat. Certainly won't be the last time.
No. Tom Ace and I found one another.
It's true. You did.
Thunder buddies for life.
Well, Nick, great update. I'm on again in the afternoon, so if you hear anything else on the Gorman Burger King job, please let us know. I've had a ton of people reach out to me all weekend asking for updates, so it's pretty amazing what you've done for Charles, and I'm very excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, it's good to see him getting some progress, and hopefully this is just the tip of the iceberg, Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Nick Shine, Charles' official job coach, with an excellent call. Tom Ace, I will have a Royal BK crispy sandwich, Swiss cheese, no tomato, and the lady would like the same. Nate writes in, an older woman from an internet chat is actually the perfect partner for Chuck. I agree. Tough to argue with that. He looks the part here. We can't deny that. He definitely looks the part here. All right, almost raffle time. Last chance. Going to give away a signed Kem Mawai jersey. Another reminder that when you enter the Mawai raffle, you're automatically also entered in the Namath, Revis, and Corbett signed item raffle later this week. J Quest, BK farts hit different. He can't eat the food there. Unreal. Now, the AI chat summary, Nick just sent it to me. Viewers are reacting in real time to an ongoing biking stunt. One viewer, Chuck, has a biking accident and falls into a lake. The chat is amused by the incident. You know, AI does a lot of cool things, but it doesn't quite capture the essence of this show just yet. Sometimes it does, though. I won't lie. Ralphie is in the raffle. I'm in. Ralphie, I got you down for 2. Hey, Beast, you're up? Ralphie, thank you very much for the super chat. I will add your name. Also, what do we got here? Oh, Indy Jets. He's in the raffle. He's gifted a channel membership. Indy's had a lot of success with raffles.
We are mama way.
Shout out to Joe B. Ralphie got you. Indy got you. I'll make sure I didn't miss anything. I don't think I did. This was just sent to me by a longtime viewer of the program. It's called Man on the Moon, not Woman on the Moon.
That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Oh, that's not bad. I actually had a football take. Can we address the football take?
Do you actually have a football take?
I did. That's why I called in. Then you got me triggered. And then you wanted to bait me, and you got it. I took the bait. I'm a moron. I'm the fish that takes the bait. I grant you that. You know how to bait me, Jake, for sure. Just on I did the math, and now I've averaged out the top 10 receivers and the top 10 cornerbacks in the league. Just average them together. And if that's what we gave Sauce, it would be 24.6 million. For Garrett Wilson, the receivers, it would be 32 million. Just do it. Like, it's not that bad. Like, these are your players. You're guaranteed to keep them. It does sound like a lot, but that contract's going to get better as time progresses, right? Like, it's going to get better. Like, if you can lock up Garrett Wilson for $32 million a year, just do it. Like, and for the cornerbacks, 24.6, that's the average of the top 10. I don't even know if Sauce would take that. Like, it's kind of low.
I think if they beat Stingley's deal, he would do it. He'd make him the highest paid corner of all time. That's what he wants.
If I put the money on the table for Sauce, let's call that 25 million. 25 million a year. What's he making this year on his rookie deal? 5? 8? What's he making? 8?
His salary this year?
Yeah.
No, he's making more than that. Sauce Gardner.
How was the? Oh yeah. He was a high pick. That's true.
He was the fourth pick in the draft. He signed a 4-year, $33 million deal.
So 9. So it's roughly 9, right?
And then the 5th-year option is more than that because he's been an All-Pro twice. So he's due to count $20 million as his base salary next year.
Yeah, I don't even think like if I just made him the average of the highest 10.
He's not getting the average. He's going to get the next guy up amount. Look at Stingley's contract. Give him a penny more call today.
So 32 for Garrett Wilson. Do you think that's a deal? Is he gonna? I know. Who was it? Was it? What receiver was it that got? Was it Jefferson or was it Chase that got 40? It was who hit their contract? It was Chase that got 40, right?
Jefferson
got 40.
Yeah,
not gonna get that.
Chase signed his deal after Jefferson. He got
Chase
40.
got 40 then, right? Yeah. Wilson's not getting 40. Do we agree on that? 35?
No, he's not. I don't even think he gets 35. I think it's around 30.
That's a no-brainer to me.
I agree.
That's a no-brainer. Just do it. Do that right now. Like, if you put the money on the table and say, here, you're rich for life. Here's generational wealth. Say no to it. They're probably going to say yes to it.
They don't have leverage, right? Because they're still under contract for 2 more years. So it's like the Jets are getting ahead of it because it's good for their cap long term. It's good for the locker room. But it's not. If they don't extend them, it's not, oh, my God, they're under contract for this year and next year.
If you put the money on the table, they're likely to take it. Like, give them the legitimate offer, right? Like 30 to 35 for Garrett is great. Sauce is going to cost you a little more. You know, Is he going to get 30? Does Sauce get 30? I would still do it. I wouldn't risk losing him. We got the cap space to do it.
He beats Stingley. That's what he wants.
I'd probably just do it. Like,
I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think Sauce will sign a contract unless he has more than what Derek Stingley just got. That's why I was proactive in saying I think they should sign Sauce before the Texans extend Stingley, but the Texans didn't wait. They already paid their guy.
if we're being fair, and I know people are down on Sauce, Sauce is better than Stingley.
He was his first 2 years. Stingley was better this past year.
If I ask 32 GMs, who would you rather have? They're the same age, right? Roughly, give or take within a year. They're the same age. Sauce or Stingley, they're taking Sauce.
I think
Sauce
Moore
is
would take
br-
Sauce. I think it's a little closer than you think because of just how dominant Stingley was last year. He had a great year. He turned unlike Sauce, Stingley allows more completions and yards, but he does turn you over more. I think the next step in Sauce's game is to be able to force more turnovers.
He does, right? But he lets up too many catches. This is what I was talking to Allen, the Iowa cornerback, the white guy. What's his name?
Cooper
the
DeJean?
cornerback in the Eagles. Everyone says he's so good. He lets up a ton of catches. He let up a ton of catches in college. He doesn't get cooked. He doesn't get burnt. He doesn't miss tackles, but he lets up a lot of catches. Sauce doesn't. Like Sauce shuts you down. Sauce doesn't let up a ton of catches, especially like in the short intermediate game. He doesn't get beat like that.
He doesn't. Even last year, his problem wasn't really getting beat as much. It was he had penalties. That was the problem.
And he had some missed tackles, right? And
Yes.
missed tackles, they go on highlight reels and they make you look bad. But if you look at the whole season, it's a handful of plays. He's not getting beat 10 times a game by little wide receivers. Like Sauce is the premier cornerback, and he's going to get paid like one. Like, do we wait until next year and the asking goes up even higher, or just do it now? Just do it now.
I agree. So are you happy that you got to get your football take in after degrading
Cooper
women?
DeJean. I could not think of his name. Cooper DeJean.
I said it. Cooper DeJean. I said it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Cooper DeJean is not a safety. He's just a corner who will lock down your number one. Did you ever hear that song, Jake? Did you hear the Cooper DeJean song?
I don't know if I have. No.
Okay, it's over with Billie Jean. No, it's not.
I've heard good songs lately, though.
It's not. I've heard good songs too. You gonna play the song? It's good. Good.
What song?
I thought you were gonna play my outro song, the one that Gator made with the.
You're damn right I am.
He's pointing. Garrett Box, I'm pointing at you. Garrett Box, he pointed at you. Garrett Box, I'm pointing. I'm pointing. Box and 3. I'm pointing. I'm pointing. Garrett Box, point at you. I point.
Yeah, baby. Tremendous. All right. I was going to end the show, but I still have to get the raffle names together. So a couple things need to happen here because I have just the idea. Bo, we're going to shout him out because he gifted not one, not two, but 10 channel memberships. Bo, thank you very much. We appreciate you always for your support.
Money, 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 money.
Jesse Bruton, Michael Tepes, Jason Radcliffe, Devin Chafin, Dub Proof, Kyle, SNXUYT, Lucas S., and Steve Gurdon, all receiving channel memberships. Now, I want to shout out the great Mike D's Nuts, who wanted in on the raffle. He is in for 2.
These nuts.
Mike, I will get you down for 2. AD is in the raffle for 2. I am pretty excited to see what with the pads come on. My win total keeps pushing on up the more I see and hear from the team and coaches. I get it. We all want to believe. Just be careful when you get excited about press conference stuff. You got to see it on the field. Fans couldn't wait for Robert Saleh. Let's not misremember that. He was the top guy on the market that was available during that hiring cycle, and the Jets got him. I think Glenn is not Robert Saleh. I think he's way different, but, you know, press conferences and all that doesn't necessarily translate to wins. But AD, thank you for the super chat. I'm excited too because I'm a Jet fan. Now, I need some time to get these raffle names together. And luckily, I have 2 legends that are on the line that could take over the show for a minute or two while I put the names together. First, we say hello to the champ.
The only thing better than all them shoes is Joey D, cause he totally rules. Jake, my brother, I'm high as a kite. I love everybody. Damn, this show is crazy. Jake, my
The
brother.
champ is here, baby. Yes. And now we say hello to a man that Mr. Bonesy went head to head in the shoe sales heavyweight championship of the world. Hello, gentlemen.
There
What's up,
he is.
fellas? The Bone Meister.
What's up, Paisano?
What's going on? How was your Father's Day? Did everybody take good care of you and serve you breakfast in bed? Did Mrs. Bonesy give you the Bonesy? What's not there?
Mrs. Bonesy's on the red, so I had to take a rain check.
Okay.
Okay.
How about the kids? The kids all
Kids were great. Kids were great. Joe, come out here for a sec. You're good. I just had a customer. Kids are great, man. How was your Father's Day? Everything was good for me. I ate good, feel good.
I played 27. I played 27 holes with my two boys yesterday.
Nice. That's a Father's Day right there.
Then I came back exhausted. I laid by the pool. Then everybody was like, "Papa, we're gonna go in the pool. We're gonna go in the pool." It was cold yesterday. I had the pool heated up to 86, and we all jumped in the pool. And then I went to the hibachi, and we had a big 13-person, $600 dinner at the thing, and nobody took the credit card out but me, and there I went.
I feel like that's a common
That's
thing.
That's my usual routine.
When we went out with Neil, we were all like, Neil?
Let me just, Bonesy, I want your opinion on something. This Sauce Gardner shit. I mean, I got to tell you something. I'm not happy with Sauce Gardner. I don't think he's a guy that we should rush to sign, okay? Because, when you compare him to Stingley, got two things you got to think about here. If I'm not mistaken, Stingley traveled with the best wide receiver on the other team pretty much every game last year, okay? Which Sauce did not. Is that a point that you would say?
That's fair to say. That is a little with scheme orientated because that was solid scheme that you don't travel. So that's where I'll literally listen. I agree with you 100%.
Let me just say this. He tackles like shit. Sauce is not a tackler at all. Okay, jumps on guys' backs. He literally made enough mistakes on the tackling side that cost us a lot in a game, which Stingley is a good tackler, okay? I've seen him play. He could tackle, and when he does give up completions, he tackles the guy right away. But let's look at a very, very big stat, and that's interceptions, okay? Stingley has 11 picks and 37 games. It's a little over 2 seasons. He has 11 picks. Sauce has what, 2? I mean, come on. You can't put him in the same category.
But Sauce
I don't
was
understand this obsession with Sauce, man.
I get where you're coming from in terms of not paying Sauce. And look, I'll agree with you in this regard. Sauce was all pro 2 years, and no one on our defense was good last year. So it's tough to judge him just on last year. And yes, is he a little handsy? Yes, is he not getting the turnovers? He's getting balls in his hands sometimes, and he still drops them. But the biggest thing that we all have to realize is there's only 2 cornerbacks out there that need to get paid coming up in the following year that should make more than Stingley or Sauce, and that's McDuffie from the Chiefs and Woolen from Seattle, right? I think that's where he's at. So, but being that there's only 2 guys that need to make money, I am all in on letting Sauce play this year. And what is it going to do? Cost us a couple million next year?
Exactly.
If Stingley's making I forget what the number was, that we're like, let's pay Sauce just a penny over Stingley. No, let's pay Sauce a penny over McDuffie and Woolen once Sauce proves it and has a fire under his ass this year. Because what everyone's saying about Sauce is, oh, he's with Ice Spice. Oh, he streams video games. He can't tackle. Is he all in? And it's like, those are questions just because he didn't have an all-pro season up to his standards. Let's let Sauce ball out, and then we'll pay the extra couple million because there's only 2 cornerbacks out there that need to make money. So we have the time to wait on Sauce. I am not in the camp to pay Sauce now. Let's let him rebound off his, not down year into PPF standards, and to normal quarterback standards. But let's let Sauce rebound off his personal down year and show us that he's an actual the baller that he is. And I'm comfortable.
One other thing I have to say, you know, I think his character is questionable. Okay, in other words, well, hang on. Let me say what I'd say. His character is questionable. I like Wilson. Garrett Wilson is the consummate pro. He doesn't bitch and moan. He goes out there. He does his job. Not saying Sauce doesn't do that, but I'm a little worried about Sauce. You know, with the limelight, the golf. I see him on all these videos all the time. How serious is his golf game? I mean, his football game and improving his football player ability. That's a little questionable for me. Don't you see? You know, I could see him taking the bag.
You hear what he said though in his interview? You heard what he said? He said that people are like, you know, you're in a perfect position to hold out. And he's like, I'm here to prove to the coaches and players here that I'm all in for this franchise and I want to be here for the long run and I'm not going to hold out. And Sauce, yes. Does he play video games and stream? Yes. Is he with Ice Spice? Yes. But he's not
golfing all the time.
He's not a bad kid though, Neil. He's not drinking and smoking. He's not chasing Pootie. He at the strip clubs. He's a good kid.
All right.
He's a good kid.
Okay.
We got.
But I agree though. Look, we're in agreement. Again, if it costs us $5 million more over 5 years, I'd rather sign him on an up year than a down year. Because I'm going to tell you something. If he plays like he did last year, there's a good chance Aaron Glenn will bench him. I mean, he was, you know, he might say, because Aaron Glenn, if he's a no nonsense, get to the ball, tackle the guy, yada yada yada, he does that. And, you know, we have other cornerbacks there that might, you know, he might make an example out of Sauce. I don't know how much he loves him.
Sauce was on the verge of getting benched, Neil. That means our season is in shambles and the defense ain't working out.
No,
maybe
we have a better.
I've been sitting in the
maybe we have a
background
better
patiently.
option.
I've been enjoying the show. They're not benching Sauce. I don't care how bad he plays. Not happening. But
what do you think, Jake? Though, what do you think of my take? Though, it's really just McDuffie and Woolen to get paid. So, what's it going to cost us? How much extra? A couple million a year?
I mean, I'd have to look. But if he's a first-team All-Pro, Bones, I mean, forget Stingley's
But
contract.
you can only pay him more than Stingley right now, and the only two
Why
other
not?
guys. What?
What do you mean? Well, you could pay him a little more than Stingley
That's
now.
what I mean. But like
or,
next year, who's going to make more than?
How much is Surtain making? How much is Surtain making?
There'll be adjustments to the marketplace. Like look what Chase just did to the receiver market. Like there'll be a player that's so special who's like, you're going to give me way more than just 30. He's going to probably ask for 40.
Yeah, I don't think that's McDuffin or Woolen, and those are the only two guys that are really the upper echelon cornerbacks.
No, but if his resume is 3 first-team All-Pros in 4 years, and Stingley has 1 in 4, like it's going to be. It behooves you to do it now. That's if you believe in them, which I think they do. It behooves them to do it now.
Our track record, Jake. How's our track record signing these guys with big bags of money? When's the last time we signed a big guy that was on our team as a rookie, and it worked out better after we signed him? Who is it? Give me a name.
Would you say Quinnen?
One.
Would you say Quinnen Williams hasn't been a really good Jet?
He hasn't been better since he signed a contract. He had an off year last year.
But Neil, that's our GMs though. Our GMs, we haven't drafted a good player in the first round in years. That's why I was so hard over Joe Douglas, because we had never even had a player to pay. Who was it? Richardson. We paid Wilkerson. That did not work out. Like
that was it. But they haven't had a homegrown Jet besides Quinnen in the last 10 years that's been worth extending long term, right? And these are the first 2 that are worth it.
I would say, look, if they sign him to an extension, I think it's going to be because Aaron Glenn believes he can make him into something better than he is. Right now,
he's going to get back to being what he was and probably better as far as being able to hopefully turn you over a little more. Also, look at Sauce's body mass, man. The guy added a tremendous amount of weight. You could see it when he was up there. He looks great. They clearly said you're adding weight to get bigger, stronger.
I saw an Instagram video of some 17-year-old burning him at the line of scrimmage. Did you see that one?
No, I
didn't see that.
Are we sure this wasn't a Make-A-Wish kid?
Yeah, whatever. The kid ran.
Yeah, right.
What do you mean? Yeah, whatever. What do you mean? Yeah,
let him
whatever?
go. Again, Sign Garrett Wilson. I'm in agreement with that. Let's get the guy extended, and let's go baby steps here, okay?
These goddamn exploding cigars. Like, gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
Just glosses over that. I think Sauce was like doing something for like a Make-A-Wish kid.
No, that was hilarious. He's doing something for somebody and he gets burnt. And Neil's like, did you see him get burnt by that guy with the half leg? Oh, goodness. That was funny.
God, Neil, you're the best. Bonesy, the store is slow today, so I'm guessing you're focused on law work.
I've been in the law books. I've been refreshing my memory, starting to remember things. I spoke to Beast already this morning. He's fully healthy from the doctors. He's feeling good. He's feeling great. So that's my update on Beast. And my last thing I want to say is, Gary is a really funny guy, and we all have a friend like Gary. Like I can't tell you how many. Every time I'm at basketball, you're around like 14 to 15 guys. You don't think you're going to get a sexist guy that's talking old school about the women shit. It's how many times have you heard the joke? Oh, well, during the Titanic, women got off with the children. Like, you're just going to have guys like Gary that have that old school view of mind. Obviously, I don't agree with everything Gary's saying, but it's just, Gary's still a good dude, but he has to keep that shit in the locker room, and Nick shines DP.
Unbelievable. Bonesy, I'm sorry to hear about your wife, but great photos of you and the family on Father's Day, so I hope everything else went well.
Besides that, everything else was good, man. I'm a pig, so, I was a little sad. I had to hang out with Mary Palm and her 5 sisters.
Oh, unbelievable. Nick, Bonesy, thank you for the time.
Mr. Bonesy.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's a show, but we have a raffle to do. Someone's coming home with a signed Kevin Mawai jersey right now.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly AsManiac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which AsManiac is winning an epic prize.
Music, please. Dun, dun, dun. Here we go, folks. Thank you to everyone who entered this raffle. Your support makes it possible to do fun stuff like this. Ladies and gentlemen, someone's about to win a signed jersey by one of the greatest New York Jets of all time. The winner of the raffle of the Mawai jersey is listener Bo C. Congratulations to Bo C. A late entry for Bo, but he got it done. Bo coming through with 10, and one of those entries was the winning prize. Congrats to Bo. Thank you to everyone who participated. We will do more daily raffles throughout the week. I'm also thinking about doing a week over the summer at some point here where there's no weekly raffle, just all 10 shows, Monday through Friday, include a daily raffle prize. So be on the lookout for that. I'm still trying to budget to be able to do like an entire week of just every show as a giveaway. So that's in the pipeline. That and some other cool things that Boomtown and company are working on that we'll be excited to share in the coming weeks here. But anyway, I want to thank you all for your support. Great calls today, besides maybe one by Gary, but some of you, I guess, agree with him. I don't know. Anyway, love you all. We're back this afternoon. Andy Vasquez will make his debut with us, longtime Jets reporter for the NJ Record. So talk some Jets with him and whatever else happens as well. Thanks again. Go Jets, everybody, and I'll talk to you soon.
I'm going to get gonorrhea and kiss on the cheek. Yeah. Oh, I got gonorrhea. Oh, my God, I got gonorrhea. Kiss my cheek. Gonorrhea. You have to have sex to have gonorrhea.
Beast Breaker 666 is up next. Hello, Beast Breaker.
We have 100,000 colleges in the United States. Why don't we just look at some of the different colleges? We got Boston College. We got Hofstra. We have a fucking, we need to take $10 billion out, go get a brand new offensive line and a new kicker. Hello, Einstein. Bullshit. I don't know. Jesus Christ. Oops, I forgot. You forgot 14 years of losing. I don't want to see that anymore. Get back on your horse and fight. Bullshit. Am I not right, Jake?
Beast Breaker, I think you make some salient points. Call back.
Fuck. When do you want me to call back?
Every day.
You got yourself a deal.
Well, that was a call, folks. Welcome to the tournament, Beast Breaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, vote for the beast.